I'm sharing with you an approach to the development of club-wide training programs that focus on the player needs while addressing the club's way of play and the club's competition needs. We must consider that the success of a club development program is based on player participation, the ability of communicating our concepts in a way which they are understood, and that the player reaches a sense of achievement and satisfaction for participating in the program. Playing soccer at a high level requires mastering of complex concepts of assessment, collaboration, and decision-making. To master those concepts, the player must meet technical, physical, and mental requirements that are interdependent. The dissertation of ideas and communication to the players needs assessment of the complexity and sequencing in presentation and the practice by the coaches in the delivery of these concepts. Only with a constant evaluation of sound decisions for adjustments in the training program can the individual player progress in the development. So, how to evaluate the complexity of the requirements within a defined way of play? A primary task is to define a reasonable breakdown of specific requirement subsets around the player's personality, characteristics, qualities, and potential. The training approach must primarily consider the player's well-being. It must consider all the factors and constraints that may prevent the stable and continuous participation of the player in the training program. The environment around the player, outside the sphere of influence of the training program, is as important as the training program itself. The economic stability of most players presents significant constraints in the player's commitment to the program. The player's daily activities, whatever related to their career outside of soccer or related to the support of the player's parents, impacts the ability to execute the training program. If the development of a training program does not consider these factors and constraints, a club may end up wasting limited resources, fail to gain adequate team characteristics to implement game strategy, and ultimately not being able to perform in the expected competition. In the end, it is possible that by not considering certain factors and constraints, a player with great soccer potential has no value for a team or a club. During the execution of a comprehensive soccer development program, the trainer or coach may choose to progress in the curriculum based on the group or team average understanding and mastery of the presented concepts, or provide a system where an individual player can progress in the development process in a gated type approach. The latter presents a more direct effort to aid the gifted player, but requires an approach to training with significant continuity from the grassroots to the adult ranks. A training program to serve a self-paced development requires a standardized periodization for presentation of concepts, drills, and way of play, along with a unified methodology for player assessment. While different expectations on the outcome of training must be used for younger and older ages, one needs to consider the management of groups based on skill level and deal with the difficulties in assembling teams. While a team to win must have some degree of player specialization, a self-paced gated approach does not place emphasis on player specialization, so a coach could end up with a group with no significant qualities in goaltending, defense, attack, etc. A team must have a defined way of play. Without it, it is difficult for the coaching staff to develop and communicate game strategy with any level of complexity. A defined way of play allows multiple players with a variance in skill and characteristics to play the same position. It also provides unity in change, when flexibility is required to adapt to the strengths and weaknesses of the opponents. As a club, having a unified way of play is critical for the development. The development of a club global way of play allows to define a standard in player requirements and the sequence of developing those requirements. The player benefits from participation in a structured development program where the player can advance in a gated development outside the limitations of the team influence. If for whatever reason a player progresses at a faster pace than other players in the team, they can join the training with higher complexity offered by the club. Above the possibility to practice and play at a higher level, the player also sees firsthand what is required for advancement. Since the players can progress outside the primary training activity of the team benefits from having advanced players and has the potential to do well in competition. Without some disciplined methodology for training execution, most plans yield substandard results. However, discipline can limit the flexibility necessary to adapt to the needs of the players. The game requires a significant level of creativity to develop solutions in view of the game needs. Creative plays arise out of the confidence a player has in a particular situation. Great confidence is a result of practice, repetition, and exposure to the game conditions. A philosophy with a degree of discipline that does not include confidence development through experimentation will limit the player's potential. However, one must emphasize basic principles first and avoid the development of bad habits. At the younger ages, one must encourage an adequate level of creativity, even in view of significant potential for losing games. As the player develops, we must guide the player towards the assessment of risk and manage balance between a good show and the competition results. The ultimate metric of a successful training program is the performance of the players, their success in the game, their placement in selection pools, and the player's roadmap towards the professional status. With quality players, the club team can perform at the highest level of competition, and the performance promotes support for the club. In summary, the development of training resources to meet a particular way of play that is used throughout the club is critical for optimum development. The training must be focused on the advancement of the player, but exploiting the player's performance for the benefit of the club. A training program must include drills that provide for communication and practice of soccer fundamental requirements. These drills should allow incremental increase of complexity and physical demand, leading to the desired concepts for the club's way of play. The drill should allow participation of younger ages by modification of distance, speed, range, power, and repetition. Thank you for watching.